The first night of the wake of former President Fidel V. Ramos reunites the men and women who served his cabinet in the 1990s. All of their speeches had the common theme of missing a leader who led by example. Former Senate President Franklin Drilon, who was Justice Secretary under both the Cory Aquino and Ramos administrations, remembers how Ramos was calm, cool, and collected even in the most tense situations.
As Secretary of Defense, I saw him defend President Cory and democracy no less than, how many, 9 times? 9 coups during the time. And he was steadfast. And indeed, I saw why he was called Steady Eddie.
Ramos stayed on top of things despite coup threats during the Cory Aquino administration, which he served as military chief and defense secretary. Former Defense Secretary Renato de Villa says coup attempts failed during Aquino's term because of Ramos's decisive leadership.
He called for a conference, a closed-door conference of major service commanders and the chief of constabulary, and directed that they support his stand to defend democracy and the Cory government from a regime change.
Former Interior Secretary Rafael Alunan III fondly recalls the grueling working hours in the cabinet as they found it difficult to keep up with Ramos's pace.
We would wake up at 4 a.m. and depart from Villamor Air Base at around 6 and then return by around 10 p.m. And you'd think we would go home by then? No, he'd still have a meeting to wrap up things.
First, former labor chief Ramos was ultimately a friend.
He wanted to know who I cared for. He wanted to know why he could not make me learn golf on Sunday. And that was the caring that we all just required to work 24/7.
Other cabinet secretaries who delivered eulogies for Ramos on Thursday night included former Agrarian Reform Chief Ernesto Ordoñez, former Health Secretary Carmencita Reodica, former Presidential Advisor on Youth Affairs Amina Rasul, and Ernesto Ordoñez, former Trade Undersecretary and Secretary for Presidential Flagship Programs and Projects under the Office of the President.